Hello! Hi, I am alive! I'm still sick, um, but if I waited until I was completely not sick, it would be it would be weeks until I posted again. Okay, so in my support groups that I've been going to, we've been talking about reparenting, the idea of um, kind of giving yourself soothing yourself, talking to yourself, your inner child, um, what you need uh, right now, and what you needed when you were a kid that you didn't get. Um, and one of the things was like, if you get triggered or something, think about how how you feel towards your inner child. Like, imagine your inner child, whatever, or imagine yourself as a kid then, whatever. Your little self. What are your feelings towards that self? And the idea is to, feel curious and compassionate and empathy and whatever, and thus you'll realize that you yourself, you need that compassionate feeling, whatever. But I brought up in one of the groups that when I think of my inner child or my past self, whatever, compassion is not the first thing that comes up. Anger is the first thing that comes up. That I can't even think of my inner child as a she or a her. It's more of an it. And not really a disgust or a disdain. It's more of just it's anger. I feel anger towards it. Frankly, it. And so that was concerning, obviously, of like, well, how am I supposed to, heal thyself? How am I supposed to heal my inner child, heal myself, if I can't even feel compassion towards myself? And my teacher, I guess you call him a teacher, group leader, whatever, told me it's not really hatred or anything towards myself then, or that self. It means that there is a part of me that is, and when I say parts and inner self and whatever, I'm not talking about a DID or multiple personalities. That's something else entirely. But there is a theory that within ourselves there are different selves, and it's called internal family systems. That, I mean, I'm sure you've said it before to your own self, like, or to someone, talking to someone, like, oh, part of me wants to do this, but part of me wants to do that, or, oh, I don't know, I feel kind of this way, but I also feel kind of this way. Like, it doesn't mean that you have a split personality. It just means what it is, of like, some part of you feels this way and some part of you feels that way. But just with this therapy modality, we take a little bit further and see these different feelings as kind of separate parts of our psyche. And there is a core self that is your actual, just kind of pure, whatever self, thoughts, feelings, way of thinking. And then there's these other parts of yourself that are like your inner child, or your teenage years, or protectors, or trauma holders, or so. And in some cases, this is theorized of what happens to people who have DID, dissociative identity disorder. When the trauma happens that is severe enough, and usually it's in childhood, those parts of self do actually become individualized, separate persons. That they are completely separate from one another, and not just like different way of thinking or something, or different, different subcategories of the self, that they are actually separate people. Anyways, I don't have DID, but when she said that it's not necessarily that I hate myself or hate myself as a kid or hate my inner child, that anger is a very, very strong protector stepping in. That anytime I or someone else tries to reach that inner child self, or that inner child steps forward, then this protector comes in and is like, no, there's too much trauma there, there's too much damage there, we don't want, the rest of us want absolutely nothing to do with it. It's not even a she, it's an it. It's a dissociative thing of like, that is bad juju there. It's not necessarily a bad person, but there's too much drama, there's too much badness, there's too much just shit that we don't want to deal with, that we know is bad and harmful, and is nothing good with it. So protectors there with, I have an image of, like someone holding a spear and a shield and going, back, stay back, go away, back off, you're no good, stay away, go on, shoot. This image I have. All this talking is playing hell on my throat and my head. But that seemed to make sense to me. That seemed to feel right. That made me feel a little better that, no, I don't hate my kid self. But just that there's so much trauma there that when I try to think of it, that anger comes in, anger towards the kid self of, no, you do nothing but cause hurt, so why are you here? Back off. Just, no, go away. To preserve the rest of us, you need to go away. That makes sense to me. That really does make sense to me. And I, inside of myself, I know this is a lot of woo-woo stuff, but that's the big subcategory of this channel, is mental health stuff, and a lot of mental health stuff sounds woo-woo. I don't feel like I'm 32 years old. Am I 32? Or am I 33? I don't even remember my age. How old am I? Am I 33 now? Shit, I think I'm 33, not 32. Whatever. I'm in my early 30s. I don't feel that way. When I kind of just take a moment and analyze myself, I feel like I'm sometimes a teenager, sometimes early to mid 20s, so anywhere between like 16 to 25, or somewhere in between there. Usually more on the younger end, 16, 17, 18. That's just how I feel inside. That protector part feels, I don't know what age that protector part feels kind of ageless. Like it's always been there. I don't know why I'm not saying like, I don't feel like an adult, I feel like a kid. I'm a kid at heart. Like that's not it. Just roll with me. A lot of this is like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm being very vulnerable here, so just roll with it, okay? I don't know, maybe that's why I dress the way I dress today. Pretty normal. I'm just wearing a sweatshirt from Old Navy. I'm wearing pajama pants because they're comfy, and I need to do laundry. Yesterday, though, I was wearing my pink and black devil pants instead of my white and black devil pants. I now have two pairs of devil pants and a sweatshirt that had Nightmare Before Christmas on it. Oh, and a collar. I bought myself a new collar with bats on it. I guess I don't know. My therapist asked me, well, what is a 30-year-old supposed to look like, sound like, dress like? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that, but probably when I think of it, I think of someone like, someone who has their shit together more than I do, someone who has a real job, someone that, dresses business casual during the day and has a regular job, and then goes and works out at a gym and wears stuff from Lululemon, and wears sexy dresses during the week or weeknights or whatever, and just, yeah, has her shit together, basically. I don't feel like I have my shit together. I don't feel like I'm living like an adult, so maybe that's why I don't feel like I am the age of an adult. Maybe that's why I feel like I'm a teenager. And it's not like, I don't want to grow up. It's not that. Lord knows it's not that. It's not that I don't want to grow up. I know I'm a grown up, but I don't feel like I live the life of a, well, I don't live the life of a functioning adult in our society. Legally speaking, literally, because I am on Social Security disability. By definition, our government has legally defined me as being incapable to have a job as a normal working part of the working American society. So, it's by legal standards, legal definition. No, I'm not a normal functioning part of society. I mean, and is this normal? Are furries normal? I'd say they're normal within their own subcategory category of our culture. But furries are definitely a subcategory of our culture. That's it, is that our culture is made up of many, 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 many things. Not everybody's a furry. it's a niche. It's a subsection. I'm not saying I'm subhuman or that furries are subhuman. No, it's as I said, I'm not saying that I'm not an adult because I'm a furry. I'm not saying that either. Plenty of furries hold down normal 9-to-5 jobs. Plenty of furries are successful. Like, I'm not including the ones that are professional influencers. Not even including those. There's plenty of people that have normal day jobs along with furry being their other part of their life or their hobby or whatever. Plenty of whatever. Furries come in all flavors. I don't have as much of a dissociation issue as I did a few months ago. I feel more attached to my body than previously, so that's an improvement. A few months ago, I didn't even feel attached to my own body. Like, if I felt, a bit of body, what is it called? Body dysmorphia, whatever. That has gotten better. Being a furry helps when I can come in here and dissociate from being me, and I could be Miha. That helps a lot. Childhood stuff was put off for so long, was put in a box. That box was locked, and a chain wrapped around it, and thrown into the bottom of the ocean for so long that I think trying to get to it, trying to get into it, trying to get through it is harder than I want to admit. But it felt good hearing actually about the protector idea because now I feel less judgmental of myself. I do really want to share my childhood story, but I think I have walled it off for so long that it's going to be more difficult than I had intended. You know, the stuff that with my shitty boyfriends, well, that's just it. Is like when I say like, oh, I have problems with some shitty boyfriends, like that in itself, people can kind of conjure an idea of what that means. You know, shitty boyfriend. Oh, she probably means like domestic abuse type of thing. Like maybe they hit her, or there was SA, or you know. But whereas like childhood abuse is way more vague. that can encompass a lot of things. Or shitty boyfriends, like that already says a lot in just 2 words. And it's a lot easier to, at least to me, it's like, shitty boyfriends, like I can get more sympathy from that much more easily, whereas like my childhood thing, the situation that it was, there is a ton of guilt and shame for me associated with it. With the shitty boyfriends, it was like, I feel like some frustration with myself that I didn't really see what was going on. If I had the wool pulled over my eyes, you know, that kind of a thing, or I couldn't have seen what was going on. I was incapable, and I was just surviving the best that I could. Which should be said for when I was a kid too, obviously, but it's a completely different situation. I want to share it so badly though, because I want to give voice for other people out there who have had a similar experience, because I haven't been able to find validation for myself from other people. I want to be the voice that isn't that isn't out there, that I haven't found. You know, there's domestic abuse groups, like they're somewhat easy to find. So I think now I can lean into that protector part a little bit more of like, okay, maybe the time isn't right, and I'm a lot stronger than I think, because if I have this part inside of me that is wanting to fight for me so fiercely, that's a good thing. You know, I may not be able to show it outwardly. I may not be able to have that fierce, strong, powerful side of me show outwardly. At least I know it's in here. It's in here somewhere. Another thing that was an epiphany with my mental health journey recently is my therapist and I talked about the difference between like walking my dog and going into a grocery store. I told her that I compare myself all the time between like myself now and at any other point in my life, basically, of like, okay, I never had a problem going to a grocery store before. You know, I worked before, I had jobs before, I had friends before. I've always been an introvert, but I had more friends before. Like, what the hell, basically? You know, I didn't start self-harming until I went to college. Like, what the fuck happened? Why am I like this now? You know, and my greatest fear is being called a fake, is being called a fraud, is being called like a sissy or whatever. Like, I don't want to be seen as a fake or as a burden. And so we talked about like, okay, what is something that you do basically without thinking about it, no matter what this, you just do it. And like, okay, walking my dog, I don't have to go through the steps in my head before going out the door. I just do it. I just grab the leash, just grab a poop bag. I don't have to run through this possible scenarios in my head. I already know what to do. I know where to walk. I know what to do if I come across another dog or a person or whatever. I don't have to. It's just automatic. I don't have to think about it. And when I do think about like, oh, I need to go walk my dog, there's no fear or panic or stress. It's just, I gotta go do it. I mean, obviously if the weather is bad, that's like, I don't want to do it, but that's different. I know I can do it and get it done, and it's no problem. No matter what situation may come up, I know I will. If there's another person I don't want to interact with them, I know I can go a different way, and I know I won't get lost because I know my area around here like the back of my hand. My dog won't run away and get lost. He knows the area, like all that. But take, for example, going to a grocery store. There's so many unknowns. Even if it's a grocery store that I've gone to a million times, there's people. There's other people. You don't know who's going to be there. You don't know if what you need on your list is going to be in the store. You don't know what the prices are going to be. Even if you look it up ahead of time, the prices may change. You don't know if, well, what if you forget your list? What if you forget something on the list? What if, like, there's a lot of what ifs, and there's only one exit. Well, one or two. Or as with walking spirit, it's the great outdoors. I can go which way that I want. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, but still, I was able to grocery shop before. Why can't I now? And I thought back to like when all the shit started, when I got diagnosed and stuff, I was suddenly completely on my own. All my friends had graduated before me. This was in college. I had to take a year and a half longer to graduate, actually, because I fell behind. My roommate literally kicked me out because she was worried that I was going to try to kill myself and she had to babysit me. So there was no friends in Flagstaff, no family. I was on my own. It was just me and my dog. And so when I started going to classes and I didn't have any friends, I would sit at the back of the class and make sure I was near the door, make sure I always had like an easy escape. I would tell myself, oh, well, if Spirit needs to go to the bathroom, I need to get out easy. But thinking about it now, it's like, she equated it to birds. If birds are startled suddenly, they just poof, they just fly, they just go. They don't have to think about it, they just poof, go. Well, I developed a bird brain, or bird way of thinking, bird thought, that I needed an exit strategy, and I needed it something to be just poof, that I could just go without thinking, that I could just poof, just go. Grocery stores, especially if you're like, in the back or something, you can't just poof. You have to wander through the aisles and people. While I'm walking spirit, I can go wherever I want. When I'm sitting in the back of the classroom or near the door, I can just go. Makes sense. And I was all on my own. And it was scary because I didn't have friends. I didn't have family. I mean, they had my support, obviously, but they weren't there with me. I had to navigate these situations suddenly completely alone with my dog. The trial and error of medications, and I had Taekwondo classes, but they were good. They were just as good as they were stressful. It was a yin yang situation, and I started self-harming as a way to try to regulate myself through all this stress. I didn't have these kind of situations in high school. I had friends in high school. I had other things to, regulate me in high school. There was drama that went on with my mom. But my grandpa took care of most of the things with my mom. So that makes sense. And prior to that, like, and even still, like in high school, I drank to self-medicate. I drank to escape. I that was my poof, was drinking. I drank in middle school actually because my mom gave me alcohol. I'm not going any further with that, but that was my poof. There was always a poof. Even as a kid, dealing with the stuff as a kid, I would have to find ways to poof there too. Playing by myself with my stuffed animals, or just trying to escape it in my head to ignore things that were going on. So now, at 33 years of age, no, there isn't the same stress going on. I have a wonderful husband. There's no abuse going on. But for so long, I have been used to being able to find the poof. I just coined that now with the poof, that the birds flying off suddenly. That when I don't have a poof, it causes stress and anxiety. Makes sense. So I'm comparing myself to like, oh my god, I didn't used to have to think of baby steps. I didn't used to have to be on disability. Yeah, but when I was working or when I was going to school, I found other ways to poof. I found other ways to cope, or I just didn't really think of it. As the drinking was like, oh well, I was just doing it to socialize. No, drinking was poofing, or self-harming was poofing. So I still self-harm occasionally. I admit to that. It has been a few months now. I had gone like, I don't know, a year or so, and then I fell off the wagon. But it has been now over a month, I think, this time around. So, yay. So, if you have lasted this far, if you've lasted this long in listening to me, I appreciate you very much. And it feels good to be able to think through things by talking. I appreciate it. I hope this is interesting, and maybe you can find some use in it. Find where you may have your own protector. Find some realizations and ways that you poof in your own life, or fly off, or however you want to put it. When you get overwhelmed or triggered or overstimulated or whatever, you don't even have to have any kind of like serious abuse, history in your life. Everybody gets overwhelmed. Everybody gets stressed. It's a normal part of the human condition. And it might even be helpful to come up with a purposeful poof. Something, coping skills. That's what coping skills are. Healthy coping skills. Healthier than, self-harming or drinking. Come up with some purposeful poofs. I like that. I am trademarking that right now. Purposeful poofs. Although it sounds like I'm saying poops. But poofs with an F. Flaps. Bird flyaway moments. I need to work on that myself, actually, because my only purposeful poofs. Gosh, now I think it's going to sound like I'm saying poops this whole time. Oh dear. I hope not. Well, anyways, my purposeful poofs is basically watching TV or movies, and I can't do that right now for the next 30 days or so. So I need to think of some other stuff. I want to make a self-care box, and I want to share it with you guys of self-care coping skill whatever box. I have this 20-sided? I don't even know how many sides it is. Die. Someone in a group came up with the idea of like come up with a list of things, and then if you don't know what you want to do or need to do, you just roll a die and it tells you what to do. So I need to come up with a list of 20 things to do to put in a box. So maybe that'll keep me occupado. One of my purposeful poofs can be talking anonymously on the internet. I appreciate you listening to me, watching me. I hope this was interesting. Now I need to go spray the inside of this head liberally with an alcohol water solution to kill the nasty germs after breathing all my nasty COVID breath in here. All right. Stay safe, stay warm, stay healthy, all that other stuff. I hope wherever you live, you don't get snowed in too badly. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.